Hey guys, Cameron from the Village Market coming to you with our second part of our virtual wine tasting series. In case you missed us last week, what we're doing is we're pulling two wines off the shelf from the Village Market. We're opening them and discussing some of the tasting notes and just giving you some information about the wine. And then what we'll also do is we'll knock 15% off the price of both bottles for the entire weekend. So you can come in and pick up one bottle, you can pick up 6 bottles, however much you want. It's 15% off through the rest of the weekend. And it's just a great way for us to kind of discuss some of the wines that you might be missing out on at the Village Market. The two wines that we're going to be pouring for you guys today both come from California. The first is going to be a Sauvignon Blanc from Honig Vineyards, and that is going to be a Napa Valley wine. And then the second one we're going to do is a red blend for all you cab fans out there looking for something different. It's going to be a cab-based blend from California, and the fruit for that wine is going to be sourced from Napa Valley, Anderson Valley, Sonoma County, and Mendocino County as well. And that wine is going to be from Banshee Wines, and it's going to be their Mordecai Red Blend. So again, we got two great wines for you guys to discuss this week, and we'll get right down into it. All right, guys, the first wine that we're going to be tasting today is going to be the 2019 Honig Sauvignon Blanc coming out of California. Honig is a winery that just celebrated its 40th vintage. They started in 1980. And this is a great wine. This is my personal favorite white wine that we sell inside the shop. Normally retails at $18.99 a bottle. When you take 15% off, we're going to drop the price down to $16.09, and that'll be good through the rest of the weekend. A little bit about Honig. They are a winery in Rutherford, California. That's a small AVA that's located within the Napa Valley in California. And while they may be a lesser known winery, if you look at some of their neighbors, just get on Google Maps and type in Honig Winery. And if you zoom in and kind of look at some of the wineries that are literally next door to them, you're talking about some pretty heavy hitters like Camus, Frog's Leap, Gurgitch Hills, Scarecrow, Silver Oak, just to name a few. So all of those major wineries that you've probably heard of for many, many years, they're sharing the same soil and terroir. The vineyard sites are just right next door to where these guys are pulling a lot of their fruit from. So definitely incredible wine, especially for the price. Again, personal favorite white wine, and can't wait to try it. All right, guys, it's time to try the wine. Again, we're tasting the 2019 Honig Sauvignon Blanc here. In the glass right away, you can see that the color is crystal clear. It's a very, very pale straw color. I do get some secondary colors of green and silver. I don't think that there's any oak on this wine at all. I think the whole wine is done in stainless steel, which means that we should expect to get some really crisp, clean aromatics and flavors. On the nose, the first thing that I get is going to be this citrus, grapefruit, kind of grassy aroma to it. There's some secondary tones of white flowers and then some stone fruit, maybe some peach and apricot. The nose on the wine is very powerful, as would be the case with most Sauvignon Blancs. So it's just this very lofted, just bright, beautiful nose on the wine. It kind of just, the nose of the wine has me salivating already. Delicious. Again, this is my favorite white wine that we carry inside the shop. One of my go-to summer wines. It's just a very, very bright, fruit-driven wine. The first things that you get, again, are going to be that grapefruit, grass, a little bit of lemon curd, and then some peach apricot notes as well. It's got a really nice crisp acidity to it. The acid is high, and there's not a lot of minerality to it. So again, this is just a fruit-driven wine. If you think about just biting into like a tropical fruit salad, that's kind of what this wine is going to be like on the palate. Again, don't confuse a fruit-forward wine with a sweet wine. This is definitely a dry white wine. The classic food pairing for Sauvignon Blanc is goat cheese. So if you have some really, really tangy goat cheese, a Sauvignon Blanc pairs beautifully with that. So if you have like fresh goat cheese on your salad, or another application, my wife makes a phenomenal goat cheese cheesecake, which is really bright and tangy and not quite as sweet as your traditional cheesecake. The thing is like legendary. This would even be good, in that kind of application. And then it can also pair with anything, the lighter chicken style dishes, anything that's got some citrus or acid in the dish itself. And then this would also be a great wine with shellfish or oysters or anything like that. All right, guys, for our second wine today, we're going to taste the 2016 Banshee Mordecai Red Blend. This is a proprietary red blend coming out of California. What does proprietary mean? What that essentially means is that the blend may change from year to year depending on what grapes are available from which vineyard sites. And so what they're doing is they're going around several different vineyards and they're basically taking the best fruit from each specific vineyard for that particular vintage that they can find. And then they're coming back and they're blending those wines together to hopefully achieve a final product that is very close and similar stylistically year over year, even though the composition of the wine might change from time to time. This particular wine, again, is made predominantly from Cabernet Sauvignon. That is making up 24% of the wine just by itself, and then the rest of the 76% of the wine is being made up of 8 different varietals in increments ranging from 15 to 5% each. This is a great wine for your cab drinkers out there if you're looking for something new to try. It doesn't give you any information on the bottle about the breakdown of the wine, so you would never know that it's a cab blend unless you were looking at the text sheet or online or listening to us as we discuss it through this virtual wine tasting. It's been a while since I've tasted this wine, so I'm really excited to open it. So let's see what it tastes like. All right, guys, so we're going to taste the 2016 Banshee Mordecai Red Blend. The goal for Banshee wines each year with the Mordecai blend is to make what they would call like their crowd pleaser wine. It's a medium plus in body, and it's going to be something that you can put on the table and basically make any red wine drinker happy. And so it goes great with food. It's bright, clean flavors, but again, just fully concentrated, fully ripened fruit. And we're going to get right into it and taste it here. Just looking at the color right off the bat, it's going to be this really, really beautiful, deep ruby color, kind of pushing on the edge of like a purple color. The wine has a wonderfully complex nose. Again, the French oak is going to come through with that toasty kind of vanilla and baking spice component. So there's all sorts of spices like cinnamon and clove that come through. There's a ton of berry flavors. So if you think raspberry, blackberry, and then there's what they would call cassis. And you'll usually see that term associated with some of like the Cabernet Sauvignon based wines. Cassis is essentially like a very intense black currant flavor. If you think about like any kind of really dark berry combined with maybe some of the pomegranate flavors as well, that's essentially what cassis is gonna taste like. If you ever see that on some tasting notes, I know that's a word that threw me for a loop for a long period of time. So again, we've got the baking spice, the toastiness, the vanilla, and then we've got those berry flavors as well. And then you get a little bit of black pepper, and then even some sort of like smoked gamey meats. That's probably coming from the Syrah in the wine. And then there's some violet floral notes and even a little bit of tobacco or like a cigar aroma. And I think that they've really kind of hit the nail on the head. They're looking for something that's medium plus in body. So it's not going to be this just huge wine. It is full bodied. It's a dry red. The tannin structure, the kind of the component that kind of takes the moisture out of your tongue, the tannin structure on it is kind of right in the middle of the road. Tons of fruit flavor. Again, you get the toastiness and the vanilla and the baking spice from the oak. And it's a very just broad reaching, rich mouthfeel. This wine would go great with any type of grilled meat, but it's also a wine done kind of in a California style that really can be consumed by itself without food. It's one of the things that I love about American wines in general is that not only do we have this unique climate in America that just grows this wonderfully vibrant fruit, but the winemaking style has kind of evolved over time, and we are basically harvesting grapes just a touch later than you might find like in the older world countries like France or Italy or something like that. We let the grapes hang a little bit longer. We achieve a little bit more ripeness. What that does is creates a little bit more sugar in the wine. Usually translates to a higher alcohol content. This particular wine comes in at 14.5, give or take, which is really kind of pushing the upper echelon of normal. But it is a wine, when you find wines that are made in California in this style, they're wines that are just so well-rounded that they can be drank or consumed by themselves, and they don't necessarily have to be consumed with food, although they're delicious with food. When you get into some of the French wines, if you get into like an old world style French Bordeaux or something like that, those wines really do benefit from having a food component to the dish. They're much drier, leaner in texture and style most of the time. Again, this is just going to be a very well-rounded, medium plus bodied red wine. There's all sorts of different flavor components and aromas going on with the wine. You've got 9 different varietals, so obviously there's going to be, each varietal has its own set of characteristics. This wine normally retails for $19.99 on the shelf. This week we're going to knock 15% off the wine. So that'll be good Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that'll drop the price down to $16.99 per bottle. Again, this is the 2016 Banshee Mordecai Red. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us this week. Part 2 of our virtual wine tasting series from the Village Market. 2 great wines that we tried today. Again, we've got the 2019 Honig Sauvignon Blanc, and we've got the 2016 Banshee Mordecai Red Blend. These wines will be 15% off for the remainder of the weekend, so that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Village Market. We've got plenty in stock, so feel free to come down here and pick up a bottle or 2 of those and some of your other favorites as well. We are open for our normal business hours. That's 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. On Sundays, we're open from noon to 5. We do have a great, exciting announcement that we'd like to share with y'all. Our friends over at Taco Heads just told us today that they are resuming their breakfast taco deliveries on the weekends only. And what that means for us is that this Saturday we'll have breakfast tacos ready for you guys for pickup starting at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. We usually get 3 options, so you got bacon, egg, and cheese, chorizo, egg, and cheese, or potato, egg, and cheese. We do get a limited quantity, so once we sell out for the day. But that's really exciting news. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been able to get our taco fix on, so all the more reason for you to come down to the Village Market and check us out. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend and stay safe out there.